So let's talk about this because one of the things that slasher movies, slasher books, slasher comics, they have
Mm,
been around forever. And
right,
so there gets to a point where originality or even twisting, a concept that's been out there and then adding a new layer to it, adding a new twist to it, or even just putting on a fresh new coat of paint on it is a big deal because this is one of the problems I think that's happening right now in comics is people are not exactly coming up with a new twist to something or even putting on a fresh painted coat or just reviving something that was done in the 90s and then just giving it, 2022 art, where you could take a 90s script and give it 2022 art and it'll be fantastic. And so,
right.
what is this like for you to add those twists in there and say, look, this is what's been done with all these slasher movies, and I want to pay respect and I want to keep it familiar? Because that's the other thing, too, is when somebody understands that something is familiar, but they also recognize that it's different. So, what is this like? Because when you're watching these slasher movies, I'm sure you enjoy watching them, but it is research. And I think this is a big issue in comics where people don't do enough research to say, this is what came before and this is the genre I'm playing in, but I need to make it different. And in order to do that, you need to actually know what exists before you start writing.
Yeah, exactly. I watched those slasher movies and I actually had my laptop open while I was watching them, just writing down notes, getting ideas, learning what to do and what not to do. But definitely, I wanted to tell an original story. That's all I really want to tell. I just want to tell original stories. I don't want to ape off stories that came before. I want to find new twists, new things to do. And there is that argument that nothing's original anymore. I don't quite agree with it. I think you can still find new things to do with stories. But with Final Boy, I wanted to kind of start in a place of familiarity. So, like that first issue is typical slasher stuff with a twist at the end that establishes a different tone going forward. And then we kind of go back into some more cliche slasher stuff, like a murder mystery establishing the suspects and stuff. But each subsequent issue, two, three, four, five, six, seven, gets more and more different, strays further from the slasher formula until we get to a place where we've never gone before in slasher movie territory. Something I have some plan that hasn't been done before in slasher movies. So I'm really excited to get to that point.